everybody, my name is Crazy Gamer. I just watched Littlefinger's death, and also a reaction video. The reaction video showed everybody being happy, which of course Littlefinger was a dick. But I'm gray on the subject because I'm kind of happy that Littlefinger died. He is a dick, but wouldn't this mean that Robin Arryn would, withdraw all of his forces to help out the Starks? Probably help the Lannisters, even? Because Robin Arryn's uncle was Jon Snow. I'm not Jon Snow. Robin Arryn's, father, his stepfather, was Baelish. And, Baelish talked with, Robin quite a bit, gave him a few things. Robin liked him by the looks of it, and now that he's dead, I wonder how Robin's gonna react. Got itchy eye. So yeah, personally, I think it was kind of a dumb idea. Another thing is, I don't know why Littlefinger didn't just ask for trial by combat. If he did that, I'd say, I don't know who he'd pick as his champion, though. Maybe Van Royce, I think his name is? Can't remember his name. The fat guy, blonde hair and gold and little armor. Can't remember. I'm not even sure if he had blonde hair. I could just be guessing. I am guessing. John Van Royce, I think. Can't remember. But, so, I personally think if I was in Sansa's position, I would have him sent to the dungeons. Not killed. Mostly, but then again, that could just be me because I think of more of a political scale. I think more about the bigger picture. Take off red button. I think more of the bigger picture than Sansa, by the looks of it. And don't Robin Arryn's army comprise 50% of the Northern Army now? Because a lot of the Northern Army got killed by the Freys back in season 3. So doesn't that mean that let's see, there was 50,000 Northern soldiers? Can't remember. That means now there's 25,000. Versus, let's see, the Tyrells. No, the Tyrells, no. Never mind. I mean, they do have the allies with Daenerys. That's another... It's about another... I don't know how much soldiers Daenerys has. Let's see, around the 8,000 Unsullied, the 2,000 Second Sons, a bit off, though, because a lot of them were killed. I'll just keep it at that number, around 10,000 right there, with the 60,000 strong Tyrell army and the Dornish army. So they have around 110,000, something like that. Versus the Lannisters with 50,000, that's nearly half right there, just the Lannisters. The Crownlands with about another, can't remember how much the Crownlands have. I think 30,000. So that's 80,000 right there. Plus with the Vales, extra freaking 25,000. That would mean that I was also in Daenerys' army, I was comprising Starks, Dornish, Tyrells, and her army. Versus the Lannister and all their armies. And now the Vale, I think. If I was Robin Arryn, I'd side with the Lannisters, to be honest. So, that would mean that... 8,025... That would mean that they have 105,000. They're still outnumbered, but not by too much. Plus, I'd say that they have a few stronger heroes. For example, the Mountain. Jaime. Even though Jaime has only one left hand now. Braun. So, ultimately, I am... Then again, Daenerys also has dragons. Then again, the Lannisters are also the richest. So, if they so wanted to, they could easily... Actually, the Tyrells are practically out of it now, aren't they? After Olenna? A lot of their money was seized, to my knowledge. So, they could easily buy the loyalty of shit tons of mercenaries. That could give them another 100,000 right there. I'm not sure how many mercenaries are there. The Golden Company, for example. I ultimately think they're doomed. I think with Littlefinger's death, now there's just going to be more chaos, so he still gets what he wants. Otherwise, who's going to win? That could just be me, though. I don't know. Well, this is my synopsis of why Littlefinger's death was kind of a bad idea for Sansa. As realistically, the Arryn troops would now leave. Other than John Van Royce. That's it. And maybe a few other soldiers. But most of them answered Robb and Arryn. 1 second. Sorry about that, my internet timed out. I was looking on these Armies of Westeros video. I can't remember the YouTuber, and told me to get the exact number. I have my calculator open right over here. Don't know why I'm pointing to it. Right that way on my screen. Right there. Right there. Have my camera. The point is, let's see. I'm just taking my own guesses, so take this with a grain of salt. Don't quote me on all this. There are 120, I think like 120,000 soldiers on Daenerys' side. And there are 105,000 on Cersei's side. Didn't count the Greyjoys, though. The Greyjoys don't give them too much, maybe an extra, 10,000. So that's 15,000. They're only 5,000 off. Plus them probably having more ships from the Greyjoys. So, ultimately, I think now the Vale is going to side with the Lannisters, and, so that means they get an extra 25,000 men or something like that, probably even more. But my exact number was... Actually, I just realized the army on Daenerys is smaller, because, let's see, during Robb Stark's bit, he had 20,000 men. I think he risked about 20,000 and they died after attacking the Lannister army, so they could capture Jaime. So that's 18,000, and then the slaughter from the Freys and the Karstarks leaving, that made them lose 90% of the army right there. About 10% of it probably got away. And that's including Tully army. So that would mean that the Riverlands was able to raise not too much. They don't have too much, I don't think. Probably like I'd estimate around maybe 15,000 on the Riverlands. And I'd say about 5% of that got away. So it ain't too much. That's like 7,000. I can't really do percent math that well. And the Starks only kept 5% of that army, and that was mostly Bolton's. It was mostly the Bolton armies. And then the Karstarks and the Umbers sided with the Boltons, which then got slaughtered. So that's an extra 6,000 men right there. So that would mean that Jon Snow has an army of like not too much. I mean, the houses were also training up, and I can't get an exact number on that. I'd say maybe 10,000. Maybe. Less, actually. I'd say about... maybe up to 10,000 with the wildlings. Plus the Vale, which gives them like an extra 30,000. And then what's left of the Tully forces, I think, joined up with them. I can't remember. I'm not sure. Which would be like another 7,000. So, not too large. But then Daenerys came by, and then their army rallied up to an army of... 130,000, something like that. 137,000. Now the Lannisters, they have an army of 50,000 just by the Westerlands. A lot of the Tyrell army is now kind of disbanded due to Olenna dying, at least to my knowledge. The Greyjoys have the largest fleet and have the largest potential for fleets. So that gives them naval superiority. So it's 50,000 plus maybe the extra 10,000 from the Greyjoys. So that's 6,000. And then the Crownlands, which is an extra 30,000. So 90,000 versus 130,000. But actually no. 140,000. 147,000 to 90,000. Doesn't sound too good, does it? But then you take into account that if the Vale leaves and joins up the Lannisters, that would give them an extra 30,000 troops. That's 120,000 to 114,000. That makes the Lannister Cersei outnumber the Dany's army. Then again, they also have dragons. But the Iron Bank is also supporting. One second. That's also the Iron Bank is supporting Cersei, and my sister's here. Now, with the Iron Bank supporting them, and the Lannisters already having crap tons of gold, that would mean that one second. Well, so that's kind of the numbers. So that would mean that if the Vale does defect and help the Lannisters, Jon's army along with Daenerys is fucked. Now they're outnumbered, and the Vale is the most uninvadable land in all of Westeros. Even with dragons. I can't remember how did they bend the knee or were they conquered by Aegon? Conqueror, not sure. Well, that wraps up this video. Probably made this years before I upload this. But, bye. Probably not, though.